Yo, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. We have Sanya Richards Ross, 3 or 4-time gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, 1 bronze,
Yeah.
uh, mother, wife, entrepreneur, mommy nation,
Yeah.
belt deal, housewives of Atlanta. Yes. Sanya, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming onto the platform.
Of course, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So, how is it with this family work balance? I feel like you're busier than ever. And then you have everybody in the house, the sister, the kids, your child, the husband, the mom and dad. How are you
Yeah.
balancing it all?
I'm not. Send
Mhm.
help. It's not okay over here.
It's not okay.
Not okay. No, you know what? I most of the times it's amazing. I feel extremely blessed to have family that I could count on that, shows up for me. But it is a little bit crazy having, 3 men in the house who all run the house differently. And it's starting to get a little bit crazy, but still counting my blessings.
Okay, that's what's up. You're handling it, I think, well. Okay,
Thank
we see
you.
the drama on the show with the sister. The sister is not happy. Your sister is not happy with it. She's always side-eyeing you, child. She's coming for your peach, okay? Um, but listen, how has life changed being on Housewives, particularly?
Oh man, it's funny because I felt like as an athlete, I had kind of experienced it all. And this has been completely different as far as even just the way that the fans are so engaged and have so much to say. And it's next level. And so I am taking it one day at a time.
Okay, they're brutal,
Yeah, they can be brutal.
but loyal. Some of them can be loyal.
Yes. And listen, I get it. Like I am also a consumer of reality television. And I know it is hard to like the new girl because it's trying to, she's trying to show you so many things and trying to show you all of her personality. And it's not always easy. But Aaron, how I have seen it is kind of like how I looked at my track career is like the long game, right? Like I know who I am and I know
Mhm.
in time the viewers will see it. So I'm just like, being patient with it.
I like that. I like that, the long game, because yeah, the girls on Twitter, well, it's a mess. We'll talk about that. Has the money gone up though? The sponsorships, the brand deals?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm very grateful for that. I always tell people I'm like, life after sports is not easy. The majority of my peers who I have witnessed make that transition. It's really hard to figure out what do I do next and what does life look like after sports. And so I feel very blessed that I've been able to continue being a Nike brand ambassador, commentate for NBC, be on one of the biggest shows on Bravo. So, whatever comes with it, I can handle. I just feel really blessed.
I love that. We did see you did the 100,000, was it a $100,000 birthday party?
Oh yeah.
Is that how much
Yeah.
it was?
Yeah, a little bit more, but in that ballpark.
A little bit more. See, the girls on Twitter, they were saying we don't believe Sonya spent $100,000. I said, why? It looked really best event of the season thus
Thank
far. A
you.
step up from, the Jamaican patties in the foyer and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, what was the most expensive part?
So you think about it, it all adds up. Probably the food. So it was the venue. You have to pay for the venue, the food, the decor. We had dancers. I had a DJ. I didn't even put our wardrobe in that $100,000 budget, but to pay for my
Mm,
clothes, Ross of course bought his own outfit, but it's all the things. Like I mean, I have no reason to lie. Like
right.
I originally had planned Aaron to spend 40. I was like 40,000 for his 40th is more than enough, and then it
Oh,
just
okay. So listen, do they pressure you to like spend money? Like how does that work? Like when the producers want you to do an event? Because last year we heard that Drew and Sheree had an event and like I guess they gave them like $1,000 stipend, but then the rest they were going to pay for and Sheree didn't to, help pay. So how does that work? Can you tell us that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think that obviously there are events sometimes that the women may host on the show that the producers may want them to have, right? And if that's the situation, then you might say, hey, like if y'all want me to have this event, can y'all give me some money? But the reality is, if you're hosting an event that you want to have, like my husband's 40th would have happened with or without cameras. So in that instance, then it's on me, like my Mommy Nation brunch, which will be on the next episode. Those are events that, like I think it may depend on if the idea for the event is in collaboration with production. Then the
Okay.
ladies might say, do y'all have 1,000, 2,000, something to put towards it. They're definitely never going to cover the full event. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're really meant to be flies on the wall. But if you're hosting something that you want to host, then it's going to be on you, how you want that to appear. And I never felt any pressure. I will say the charade party debacle truly was, like, so to be honest, I had just gotten my house. They kept saying, do you want to do a housewarming? I said, no, I'm not really ready to do that. Like my whole, I didn't want to do that. So I said, well, I'll have them over before the Jamaica trip. And literally, Aaron, the day before the event, I realized, oh shit, Sheree's birthday was either that day or coming up.
Right.
And so I told production, I was like, hey, I'd love to do something for Sheree. They're like, great. And they kind of set me up a little bit because they're like, oh, we can help you get some stuff. And they got me like some cheesy stuff. And I never thought about how it would play on camera because it wasn't like the focus of the event. So that's when I learned, okay, I gotta do stuff myself my way because that didn't really turn out the way I had anticipated. But I thought it was the thought that counted. Nobody else, the crew or the girls, mentioned her birthday, thought about it. And the fact that I even thought about it, I thought was cool.
Was super nice, but the girls, the thought don't count, the money count, okay?
I learned
So,
the hard way, Aaron. I learned the hard way.
yes. What about the trips? You mentioned Jamaica.
Yeah.
How does that work? If you can tell us, like how much of it, because we know that you hosted that great trip. I think you're a really good, let me just say this. I think you're a great housewife because I feel like you come with the real family. You seem authentic. You hosted the Jamaica trip and it was your first season. Hosting an international trip on your first season, that's hard. Ross's birthday party was super dope. I feel like you're putting forth the effort that a lot of the girls who've been on the show for 10 plus years, you know what I mean? So,
Say it louder for the folks in the back.
yeah. The Jamaica trip. So how does production, how does that happen?
So the same thing. So basically, that was a real thing that was happening. And that's the other thing too. Like I feel like you've noticed. It's like the stuff that I've done on the show are really happening in my life. I'm not putting on. I'm not, trying to make something happen for cameras. This is like my real life. And I think why they were interested in me being a housewife because I have a lot of really cool things going on that I could invite the women to. And so iFit is one of my brand partners, and they wanted to host me in Jamaica during the filming. Right, it was going to be during the filming time. So I told production, I was like, I mean, I don't know if I want to host the whole trip, but I think this could be a really cool opportunity to invite the girls. And iFit was completely game from the very beginning. They're like, we love you, whatever you want to do. And so that was all 100% hosted by iFit.
Wow.
To be able to bring the girls down. And they got equipment from iFit. Like it was really a cool, setup for that opportunity. But yeah, and then of course production jumps in and they, work with iFit to get whatever they could get and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was truly an iFit invitation, and we went on that trip, totally on them.
Wow, and that's how you know your relationship with them is really good for them to do that. Okay, Sanya, I want to play a
Yes.
game. You played
Okay.
this on Watch What Happens Live. Can you defend it?
Okay.
But this version is a little bit spicier. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Don't give me no more trouble now.
Listen, we're gonna talk about that too. We got Kenya calling Drew Sidora's music video for you already know, low budget. A low budget Beyonce blow. Can you defend that?
No, I did not feel like the film was low budget at all. I think that obviously there were a lot of elements to her video. The skating rink was just one small part of it. But I was actually impressed when I showed up and saw all that was happening. She had dancers. There was a full-on producer. I personally did not think it was low budget. I thought it was pretty
Okay.
cool.
Okay. Can you defend Courtney Knuckin if you bucking at Candy at your husband's birthday party?
Um,
And then you kind of sort of got blamed for it. Yeah. Huh.
So, I mean, a lot of stuff in that sitting did not get aired, which annoyed the crap out of me. But they're producing
What
it,
didn't
so
get aired?
well, I did tell. So, like in that scene with her, where you do see me in the first episode say, "That's my friend," whatever. But at the end of the conversation, I said to Courtney, "I said, Courtney, are you gonna tell Kandi this stuff? Because you know, if you don't, that's my girl. I'm gonna have to tell her." So I
Mm-hmm.
did. When I told Kandi, I defended her. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, "Hey, I told her like if she don't tell you, I'm gonna tell you." But I didn't think she was on bring it up like that at the party. I thought we might have all been sitting down. It would have been like a more kumbaya kind of moment. So I can defend the fact that Courtney brought it up, but I can't defend that she brought it up like that at Ross's party.
Okay. Can you defend Marlo slamming the door in Monietta's face? That was so funny. That confessional when the producer was asking y'all, did she slam the door? You were like, I mean, from my point of view, it kind of looked like it. Courtney was like, I don't think Marlo would intention. That was so cute to me. That was so funny.
So here's the funny thing, right? Like, because me and Marlo are super close, like in real life. Like, that's my
Mm-hmm.
girl. Like, we have really built a dope friendship. We talk like every day. That's my dog. So I told her afterwards, I said, bitch, I think you did kind of. I don't think the door slipped. I think she's like, really? She didn't
Definitely.
remember doing it. And that's half the stuff with Marlo is like when she gets in the moment and she gets in a little bit of a drink, like she don't remember.
Not a
Like
little bit of a drink.
just a little,
And then
little, little.
Sheree was like, I think the door just fell. I was like, yes, y'all better defend Marlo. Can you defend Kandi saying F them flowers? F you and
No,
F them flowers.
no, 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 no.
Ugh.
I thought that was like, okay, so in that whole argument, once again, I mean, nobody likes a peacemaker on reality TV, but hello, I like peace.
Amen.
But you know what I mean? It's like I understood both of their perspectives to a certain degree. Like I understood what Marlo was hoping to get from Kandi as a friend. And I understood how Kandi saw it as her like using an opportunity that made it seem like it was kind of around her business, and which Kandi didn't like that. Get that. But my whole thing was the minute you realize that what she was saying was that she was hoping you could have been more thoughtful, like you could own that. Like Kandi owns a lot of things to me. Like she, you know, if you come to her a certain way, she will be like, okay, cool, my bad. But for her to say F them flowers, I was like, no,
I
that's
ain't
the
like
wrong.
that either. I ain't like that
Yes.
either. And I thought it was interesting how it felt now, I don't know what was cut out, but it felt on the show that Kenya and Drew were coming to Candy's defense.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Marlo couldn't say a word. And so when
Yeah.
you came in at the very end and coming to Marlo's defense, it's kind of like, okay, we don't need you to be her lawyer. And I'm like, so what was Kenya and Drew being?
The whole time. The whole time. And I know, Aaron, like, I know for me, and I haven't really got to say this in a public forum, but it's like a lot of times I have a lot of stuff in my head I want to say, but people have to understand I'm getting to know these girls for the first time, right? So I'm in a precarious situation because I have things where I'm like, okay, I don't want to necessarily completely ruin a friendship. That could be something. So at the same time, I'm trying to like, okay, genuinely build. But some of the shit when I watch it back, I'm like, you should have just said what you had to say, dog. Like, you looking a
Sanya,
little,
I agree.
yeah,
Sanya, you're a Pisces, right?
I am.
You're a Pisces. Are you a people pleaser?
I am.
I feel
And
as though
living it off. Off.
I don't know. I feel like I agree. I feel like you have to be unafraid to you can't be scared to piss the girls off.
Right.
And I feel like you tipping and toeing around their feelings is getting you more in trouble than
Yes.
just saying like, okay, girl, like this is how I feel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I feel like I finally now it's taken me 2 seasons to really see like which friendships are really gonna blossom and where I really stand. And so I feel really comfortable in my skin now. Like, okay, cool. And I think that if people weren't so unreasonable, I think that everyone who's in a new environment, if you go to a new workplace, most people, I don't know, some people definitely, are always on 10. You still feeling it out, you know what I mean? And so for me, and I'm in a situation with women who've been doing this for 10 plus years. They know
Mhm.
how to play the game, right? When something happens, they're like, okay, and I'm just learning, but now I feel like I get it. Like I understand and
Okay.
I feel ready. I feel ready.
You hit the game. You hit the game.
Yes, I'm hip to game now.
Because I was just having a conversation with one of my friends and he was saying how, Sonya's too regular. And I'm like, yeah, I feel as though Sanya, like in certain situations, I feel like I can, what is it, like read your mind? Like, is this really happening? Is this really going on? And I'm
Exactly.
like, Sanya needs to get into the game. She needs to show up to filming like these girls are gonna come for her. And if they
Right.
don't, fine. But if they do, you have your reads.
I'm ready. And let's just remind your friend who says I was regular. I'm a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. Ain't nothing regular
Not not
about
not
me.
regular like that, but just like normal. Like a
Oh,
normal,
just
like you don't put
normal.
on.
Okay. Okay.
Right, right, right.
Okay. I can
Um,
take normal, not regular.
not regular, like not basic.
Not basic.
Um, can you defend Monietta Kenya? This pissed me off. Can you defend Monietta Kenya and Drew leaving filming early?
No, no.
Mm.
That pissed me off because I feel like outside of the work part of it, like, there's that part that we rarely talk about. But also too, it's like we are a group. You know what I mean? And if one person is upset, that doesn't mean and give anybody the right to leave. You'll see later in the season, there's a moment when Marlo and me and Sheree stay, we don't up and jump and like puppy dogs run behind her. And that's like our girl. You know what I mean? So I was very disappointed that they weren't able to come back in and for us to continue the dynamics of the group,
Hmm.
although Kandi was upset. You know what I mean? I think she's allowed to be upset, have her space, but come on, like the rest of
Right,
us should be to get along and have and have fun. So that was really
right.
frustrating for me.
Especially after, Drew already missed. She missed Ross's birthday party. She missed, the Alabama trip.
Yeah,
Kenya flopped on the Alabama trip.
major.
So why are we leaving early?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, don't get me to talking. Can you defend Marlo calling Drew a deranged wannabe actress built like a box ass Mickey Mouse?
No, I
That
can't. I
was
can't.
mean, Sonya.
I can't defend that. I can't defend it. Marlo. Just be saying anything.
How you feel about her new boyfriend?
I
Or I don't
love
know if they're boyfriend, but are they together?
Well, they're dating. They're dating,
Okay.
like and they're still dating and they're still, so I like him a lot. Obviously I'm biased. He's Jamaican
Hmm.
and we get along great. So I like him for her. I think it's good for Marlo to be around someone where she can just kind of let her hair down and have fun. And you know what I mean? It's not like this pressure. So yes, I like them together.
Okay. I respect your relationship with Marlo. And I respect the fact that it seems to me, my humble opinion, that the girls are trying to like sway you to turn on Sister Girl. And I like how you're standing your ground. Can you kind of like explain your relationship with Marlo and how
Yeah.
you are navigating trying to hold her accountable but still being cool with the other girls?
Yeah. So, it's like I told you, I really came on this platform genuinely wanting to build relationships and friendships and see where I landed and who I connected with. And I didn't have any preconceived ideas or notions of what that would look like. And so with Marlo, it just genuinely started to happen. So last season, a lot of us contracted COVID at like the towards the end of the season, towards
Mm,
the end of taping. And Marlo literally called me every single day. She sent me like vitamins, sent me flowers, sent me just checked on me every single day. And that was kind of the first part of us I was like, okay, cool, this is really nice, like. And then from there, it's just always been. I went through something really rough this season, and once again, she's the first one to come, first one to call. So it's just a genuine care and thoughtfulness that Marlo exhibits to me that I don't really get from anybody else there. That solidified our friendship.
mm,
Um, and so at the same time, though, and on and off camera, I keep wanting her to do better. Like, I'm like, Marlo, like, you're such a wonderful girl, but then you get in these situations and you make these girls, drive you crazy and you do things I
mm,
think are outside of who you can be. I mean, it is a part of her personality. There's no denying it. But I just genuinely feel like we connect and we see each other and we're there for each other. And that means a lot to me. So I'm not gonna just jump ship because everyone thinks I should be Kandi and Kenya's friend because we seem like we would vibe the best. It just hasn't been the case.
mm. So you ain't picked a side. Did you pick a side? Now you say you closer to Marlo. The girls are saying that you're neutral, but you really picked a side. So they want you to say, "Yeah, I picked a side." How
Well,
you
I don't
feel?
like that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like I picked a side. I feel like I am genuine and authentic to the people and treat them the way they treat me. So me and Kandi started off the season real cool because me and her hung out with the family. We had a great time, but it's like the relationship hasn't really grown beyond that. So it's like I show up for her how she showed up for me, and vice versa, and the same with Marlo. So do I pick a side? I would say not necessarily, but I do show up for Marlo because she shows up for me. You know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
I really do try to stay on the side of right, whoever it is, but that's always tricky too.
They say, "Oh, you're supposed to be loyal to Kandi because you and Kandi went to Disney World." Speaking of Kandi, okay, so you went on to Carlos King and you gave your hypothetical dream cast list, and Kandi and Kenya, they weren't a part of that. You said you wanted Phaedra on, so Kandi would have to leave and then come back, which I felt like was very nice. And you were very, trying to appease to Kandi. And so Kandi Burruss had this to say in response. She said, "You see me," I have the whole quote. "You see me off, but you don't see you off. Okay, boo boo." Yeah, she was trying to bring back people that she's been fans of. You don't even know those people. I'm just really cracking up because you're talking as a fan. And if we want to talk about what the fans have to say, then you might not want to be talking about who shouldn't be here.
I never watched it, so that's my first time hearing
That
it.
really,
Yeah.
it was all over the blogs. And I felt like that was very harsh. Like it's giving candy coated rat.
Yeah, I mean, to be very honest, Kandi, I was gonna wait to the reunion, but let's just let's just say what needs to
Get
be said.
into it.
So the reality is Kandi gave her dream team weeks before I was asked. And I wasn't on her list. But she, conveniently forgets what she does. Like she throws a bomb and hides her hand. I'm like, why is it only offensive when someone else does it? Like you didn't put her
Mm,
on your cast. She literally did a cast and I was not on her
I
cast.
didn't know
I didn't
that.
Exactly, because I didn't go live. I didn't go on Twitter. I just said, okay, no problem. So then when I was asked, I'm like, okay, well, if you don't want to film with me, why would I put you in my list? There was another, I
So
mean,
was it a petty thing, or you genuinely just I'm okay without filming with you?
no, I wasn't necessarily petty, but the reality is, I feel like no one considers anybody else's feelings when they're talking, but they
Mm,
want you to be so considerate of their feelings. So my
mm,
thing is the easy answer to that question that I think that a lot of the girls have done that I was doing: keep the cast the same, right? Like that's the easy answer. Leave the cast the same, no problem. But then for you to actually make adjustments to the cast, of course, it's gonna make somebody feel some kind of way. But I just don't go on Twitter and go on live and all that stuff to say, oh, well, you love me. I don't do that. So it's like, why is it okay when you do it? But when I do it, it's this, we got to speak on it. Like, you left me off your cast, right? You're saying that you're listening to the fans. They don't want me on the show. Cool. Well, when I'm asked who I want on the show, I'm not going to cater to your feelings if you're not catering to mine. So that's why I left off my cast. And then obviously, and I don't have no real animosity towards Kenya. But I just feel like Kenya and Marlo don't really get along. So if I'm casting and I choose Marlo, I'm not going to choose Kenya. It's just too much stress with both of them on the cast. So that was the Kenya reference. I didn't
mm.
go into a lot of detail on Carlos King. I feel like I'm always having to have caveats and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I'm going to just say what I got to say.
And I love that, as you should. I mean, you are close to Marlo. Candy don't like Marlo. You were
Right.
on Carlos King. Candy don't like Carlos King. And then you left her off the list. And, so maybe she feels slighted in some way. Like, we were supposed to be this close. I don't.
The thing is, I don't have no beef with Kandi. I actually really respect, admire, and have a lot of love for Kandi. The issue is that I feel like sometimes the things that she says, she wants you to just eat it, right? Like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. Like I put, what? But then it's like, no, like, so then in that case, what is the difference? It impacts your business, impacts my business. Like if you're leaving me off the show, I'm not getting paid either. So
Mm,
I feel like it's something that we could talk through. It's not a big deal. But at the same time, if you go back to her Shade Room interview and they asked her Dream Six, I wasn't in it. So I don't see any reason
mm.
why I should be walking around saying you're in my Dream Six if I wasn't in yours. You were in my fave until I wasn't in yours, sis. Period.
Yikes. Yikes. And then she tried to make it seem like, oh, like the fans, let's talk about what the fans are saying. The fans, even before you got there, have been saying things about her too. So I just kind of felt like the fans are fickle. Candy's having as far as the fans, she's having a good season because their hate, for one of the other cast members is translating as a love for her.
Right.
But before that, they were saying they didn't want her on the show either. So
Yeah, I mean, you can't honestly, we love the fan support and the fans make this show special. But the reality is the fans can be very fickle. And so to read into what they're saying and to make this whole thing about it, I think is truly unfair. And especially how big her platform is. She gets to sway a
mm,
lot of people's, minds about things. So I just want her to be as thoughtful as she wants you to be about what she says. Period.
mm,
Like leaving me off doesn't make me leave me in a good light.
mm, yeah.
You know?
Um. Now your relationship with Kenya is interesting. Very eye opening, and at the Gucci brunch because she didn't like your answer that you gave about her, buds on Watch What Happens Live, and so yeah, she was saying how we'll see if you're worthy of my friendship, and I don't know where your loyalty lies and stuff like that. So that was really eye opening for me as a viewer because it kind of seems like the girls are playing a tug of war with you and using you in a way, my humble opinion, they want your loyalty. Almost like, okay, we need to get her on our side.
Yeah.
How you feel about it?
I think it's so childish, and like that moment like still irks me to my core because I was like, God give his love freely. You are worthy. Like, I'm not gonna work for nobody's trust. You're not my man. Like what? Like it just but once again, I feel like in the moment I don't say fully what I want to say, and that makes me like lose sleep at night. Like literally lose. And I also think people like Kenya who have been on the show for a long time, they know how to say certain trigger words and stuff that will leave you looking played when people watch it. And that just drives me crazy. But I do feel that throughout the season. Like they're like trying to pull me onto their side. And it's like they don't understand why I have this love for Marlo. And I'm just like, I can be friends with Marlo and still be friendly or friends or whatever happens with us. Like, what is the problem? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Why are we like having this elementary school experience? Like, we are grown-ups, we are entrepreneurs, we are mothers, we are, all of these things. And it just feels really silly to me throughout the season how it's like they're like, we want your and I don't feel like I get that from them. Like when have they stood 10 toes down for me or shown up for me where you're like, oh damn, like they got her back. Like you don't see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kenya don't act like she like you half the time, so I don't understand why you're expected to say something nice about her on TV.
exactly.
So listen, so what can we expect? So you have the brunch, you have a Mommy Nation brunch coming up. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, so that is like one of the highlights of for me for the season. For the people who don't know, I started this organization called Mommy Nation. It's been about 5 years, I want to say now, 4 or 5 years ago, specifically to support Black moms on their motherhood journey because motherhood was hard for me and I got a whole husband, I got resources, I got all the things and I thought, man, like what is it like for single moms and moms that lack resources? And so this organization has just been the best thing that's ever happened to me because I've been able to connect women all over the world. And this brunch is our first fundraiser, so we're raising
Okay.
money specifically to help homeless and displaced moms all over the country. And it ends up being a great episode. Like I don't want to.
Okay.
I think you guys may have seen like Kenya ends up playing a big role in it, which is
When
crazy.
she wore
But
like the red dress or something? Yeah, like a
I don't know if
red.
you call the dress, but it was something. It was
Oh,
something.
okay. Okay.
It was something. But in that moment, I was like, she can do no wrong because, and you'll see it. It really is a beautiful moment. I think the thing about this show, obviously, I know the fans live for the reads and the drama and the shade, but I
Mhm.
do think it's really sweet when we have moments where you get to see, us loving on each other and supporting each other and being endearing. Like this, that episode brings that. So I'm excited about it.
Good, good. And then you also have y'all went to Portugal. Any tea on
Yes.
Portugal?
What can I
Any
tell you?
inside scoop? Any tea?
Well, in Portugal, it goes down, and it's going to be two unexpected women who get into it. And It's a doozy. So I can't wait for y'all
Wow.
to say it's not the, Kandi and Marlo, Kenya. It's totally different. So I feel like that is.
Uh-oh. Courtney?
Mhm. Well, no, not Courtney,
No,
not
not
Courtney.
Courtney.
She's not the main
Okay.
in this one. No, like Courtney's gonna have a little bit of issue in Portugal because it's the thing about Courtney is that she really came in just like speaking her mind and like didn't really care who liked it, didn't like it.
All right.
And I know the fans a lot of times feel like, oh, you're doing too much. I don't think she's doing too much. I think she's being herself, and I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she had her little bit of moments in Portugal too, but that's not the main thing that happens in Portugal.
Well, we're excited. We're really excited. I think you're a great addition to the show. Are you prepared for the reunion?
I'm preparing for the reunion.
Preparing. Okay.
Preparing
How
for
many
the reunion.
episodes do they give you guys in advance, or is it like at week after week, like a few days before? Or?
Oh no, so we get the episodes a couple of days in advance, but before the reunion, they make sure we have all the
All of
episodes.
them.
So we would have
Right.
seen everything before we all link up. So you know, I think the reunion is partially obviously going back, remembering what happens, but also just being present in the moment. And I think that that's what I really want to do, to do this season is like just be in the moment, and not like overthink it. Cause I'm an overthinker too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm an
That's the
overthinker.
Pisces, February 26th.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you these two?
I'm a Pisces, March 6th. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Overthinkers, people
Overthinker.
pleasers. But I felt like, as I get older, it's like, okay, do what I
Me too.
want, say what I want, and it is what it is.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what you got to think about it too. Like I'm only 30, what am I, 37, 38. These women are way more seasoned, way more seasoned than me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll just say it like that.
Listen, thank you, Sanya, for coming onto the platform. I really enjoyed this. I really wanted your perspective, so I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. You guys, this is her 6th call of the day, so she's
Thanks.
working.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanya. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.